Hello, everyone. This is Tim. Book two for this month is Hope on a Tightrope, and we're in it. So let's just continue to read it, get as much in as we can. Now, we're picking up from the last video. That view is too often a minority view within the Christian community because it requires too much love, too much courage. Who wants to pay the ultimate cost like Brother Mega Evers? People are too scared. I understand that. I still love them. I affirm Mega's courage because he dared to look at the world through the lens of the cross and pay the ultimate price. Malcolm did it in the Islamic tradition. Martin certainly did it in his tradition. He bore his cross from age 26 until he was assassinated at 39. The American empire is just so cross-averse. America denies its night side until it breaks right through. There's no direct reference to slavery in the original U.S. Constitution. That's not just a slight gesture, that's lying. You can't get away with that. You end up fighting a civil war over an institution not invoked in the Constitution. That's a level of denial that's incredibly deep. You think you're innocent, yet you've created the catastrophe right in your midst. You try to sanitize and sterilize it so expertly that you think the funk is not going to hunt you down, but it never works. It is unclear whether we're going to make it. I'm not an optimist at all. Brother Barack Obama says he has the audacity to hope. I say, well, what price are you willing to pay? Now we know he wasn't willing to pay anything. It's no longer enough to be willing to die. You have to be willing to live the truth. Somehow you have to be able to walk that tightrope. We have too much cynicism around here. It's too easy. There's too much pessimism. Pessimism and optimism are the flip sides of the same coin. We should reject the whole coin. When you're optimistic, you can stand apart to see how things are going. But when you're full of hope, you're in the midst of the muck. You're working it out with love power and a commitment to justice. Your unshakable connection to the story and tradition that shaped you is what sustains you. We have to expose the social breakdown that produces the conflict that separates human beings from hope and courage and discipline and risk taking. We need to be true to ourselves. I say that to Brother Barack Obama all the time. That's above all. To thine own self be true. And it must follow as the night, the day. That canst not then be false to any man. To be true to yourself means finding yourself. This became something of a challenge for Sister Hillary Clinton. You need to have a self to be true to. You can find yourself, but what self is it? What's the substance of it? You can't discover it by simply checking the next poll. And I'm not speaking just about Sister Hillary. This is what happens to most politicians. I pray to God that Obama is never reduced to that. American politics has a way of grinding the best out of a person. It squeezes their hope into cheap optimism. It reduces their prudent judgment into opportunistic behavior. Now we know Obama was always opportunistic. He was just the biggest salesman ever to come down through the American society. When Martin King was killed 40 years ago, something died inside all of us. If someone that morally sublime yet human can be murdered, that's not the stuff for sustaining people's sense of courage, struggle, and sacrifice. They begin to turn away and say, my God, America doesn't have the capacity to treat the masses of black people decently or humanely. Middle-class Negroes may make the mainstream comfortable, but the mainstream isn't going to treat Tawanda and Tyree on the block the same way. That's who Martin stood for. He didn't stand for just middle-class entree into the upper echelons of society. He wasn't against it, but it was not what he stood for. People say, you know what, Brother West? I understand what you're saying. It's fascinating that you're still tied to the 60s, but I think I need to become more well-adjusted. Well-adjusted to injustice? I wouldn't put it that way, they say, but you need to tone things down. You have too much rage and righteous indignation. I mean, you won't go Jeremiah right on me, will you? I need somebody to tone things down a bit for me to be able to go on about my business. Everybody has a different orientation, I reply. I don't believe everyone needs to have the same righteous indignation that I do. I'm a Christian, so I have Jesus in the temple. I have a martyr against the marketeers. So we'll pick up in the next video. And basically, we're dealing with the American lie. And one lie leads to another lie, leads to another lie. And it's just one big lie that you can fix this country without fixing race. Slavery was racialized. Slavery was the fuel. They knew it was evil when they did it, and they built the country on it. So the country keeps reverting back to it because it doesn't understand anything else. It's just like a program. If it doesn't recognize justice, it won't use it. If it only recognizes blacks to be on the bottom, then that's what it's going to do. No matter what you try to do around and nibbling around the margins, the structure of the system, the core of the system recognizes the hierarchy that this country was built on. You either need a new constitution or just a new society altogether. And we're going to get it one way or the other. Either nature will force us back into it, out of it, or we'll come out of it ourselves. I want to thank you for your support. Until next time, please take care of your mind, take care of your bodies, and be safe.